Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Night of the Living podcast. I beat Freddy to the mic.
She sure did.
So you get to hear my voice first.
I'm slow. I was slow on the uptake.
Freddy got cucked.
He did. In front of everyone. In front of all of your friends.
Aw.
No, maybe that's just his kink, though.
In
No
front
kink
of,
shaming.
He's
in
into
front
it.
of my dog.
Makes him happy. What did you just say about your dog?
I said in front of my dog.
In front of your dog.
Yeah.
In front of a man's dog.
Right in front of the dog.
It's not something you do in front of a man's dog.
Do you
Uh-oh.
want- Yeah.
You're a pack leader now, Amy.
Yeah.
So as the pack leader, I guess I should say that we're doing Screampunk. Steampunk movies. If you didn't get it. We did The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Now we're doing Delicatessen.
Good pair. They actually, all the movies, again, all are very whimsical and kind of silly.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided that all steampunk is whimsical and silly.
Works for me.
You think?
Yeah.
You think there's like a very grounded, serious steampunk out there?
I think that our last movie that Diane picked called Mortal Engines might be a more serious take on steampunk, but I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never read the books, so
Couldn't tell you.
yeah.
But we'll find out more later. That's in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks. Would this dog sit down?
She's antsy.
Or is she just going to clop all over the goddamn place?
Yeah.
I'm going to put booties on her. It'll be adorable.
So cute.
Oh,
Quiet her down.
sure, she'll love that.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be really great about it. So how's everybody doing? How we feeling right now?
I'm worried about LA a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hanging on for dear life emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I'm feeling fragile.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is pretty crazy. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, we got friends out there. Stay safe.
Yeah.
You know, and don't do anything too stupid either. But
Do it for the cause.
yeah, but
motherfuckers.
I'm proud of everybody who has the guts to go out into the middle of all that and do anything.
Here's the thing. Like, I also like, oh, the world's like stressing me out so much. We got to do something, but I'm too lazy to actually do something.
We're also all middle aged, so we're kind of on the. Although you look at somebody like Jane Fonda, and she basically erases
She
any
shames you.
excuse, you know.
She's also wealthy.
Yeah.
That does help.
I mean, am I allowed to complain when they come for us?
You're not allowed
Yes.
to complain ever.
No, I'm allowing it. When they come for the lazy, I'm going to allow the lazy to complain.
I mean, I hope I don't just welcome it and resist a little bit. Like, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I said no.
You got to be like Jack Reacher and just stand up and say no and then be real smarmy with everything else you say
Yes,
and smug.
that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to live your life. That's how you got to protest.
That's how you do it.
I think I'm gonna approach it like Bobby Hill. I'm just gonna be like, I don't know you, and kick him in the nuts.
Sure.
That's gonna go over well, right?
I think so. I like it. That's my
Oh,
purse. Yeah. World's pretty crazy, but other than that,
kind of glad we're doing such a far out escapist theme
you guys
because of that.
recently went and saw Bring Her Back.
When you say you guys, you
Well, I
mean
meant Andy,
Yeah.
I
I
guess,
missed
and
it.
our friend Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk about it a little
You'll
bit
talk about it
when
later.
we do
Okay.
our review section of what we watch. But there's a funny story involved. Before the movie, we're all like crowding around the refreshment area, waiting for the people with getting drinks. And there's this couple there that are getting their drinks too. But they knock over the cup and spill like a whole large soda on the floor.
Which is like 80 ounces at the movie
Yeah.
theater.
And I'm like, I just make a joke like, oh, I hope they're not seeing Final Destination. Because that's like a setup for, you
Yeah.
know, hijinks to happen.
Yeah.
And then not 2 seconds later, some girl walks by and slips on it
Oh shit!
Oh, really?
and eats it.
Damn. So
And
that's
they
an
were both
instant
going
report.
to see Final Destination.
Yeah, so I felt bad. Like, I mean, it's not like I spilled the Coke,
Yeah.
but for me, like felt like I jinxed her.
That movie.
And she got wet.
Oh no.
That movie theater is going to be shut down because of that now.
Yeah.
That was the last straw. Like they could only handle like one more instant report where they had to pay somebody, and that was it.
Yeah. So like my little comment shut down the whole theater.
Yep.
And the worst part is she was wearing jean shorts too, and
Oh,
sitting in wet
no.
jeans.
Ooh.
Not gonna be comfortable.
And you know, like when girls wear jean shorts, are not like baggy, like when guys wear jean shorts.
Sure. Although I wear,
You know
tight
what I
jean
mean.
shorts
They're a little
Yeah.
tighter, yes.
They're tighter, so
Yeah.
like I can't imagine sitting in sticky
Wet
wet
jean
jeans for the whole duration of my movie.
Just asking for a yeast infection.
You guys
Sorry.
know that the reverse of Daisy Dukes is Dookie Days.
Dookie Days. Oh, I love Dookie Days. Every summer,
Yeah.
the Dookie Days festival.
The Turd Festival.
Yeah.
When the Queen Turd is crowned.
Queen turd.
So yeah, patrons, this is what you paid to have happen is this, what you've just heard. Thank you so much for your support.
Your money goes towards Dookie Days.
Patreon.com/NOTLP. Oldies are there, origins from
Our very old episodes.
we just wrapped up 2012. So we're in the Wayback Machine still.
Yep.
We'll be there for the rest of our lives. And
I like to take a time machine back to 2012.
yeah,
Simpler
it's
times.
all right. I mean, it's better.
Oh, well, no, I'll jump back to our time when this goes over, but
I'd rather-
2012 just seems so comfortable right now.
Comfortable for me is getting to the other side of all this stuff. I want to go to the future where this all turned out okay.
And we have Star Trek Utopia.
But we also have Topicana, which we almost just did a Topicana impromptu just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Zoned Out, the Twilight Zone revisited, just cracking along through that first season of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
30 some odd episodes.
Wow.
TV was so different back then. It really was.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do you have a Werther's original in your mouth?
I wish I did. I could go for one of those right about now.
Should we replace your desk chair with a rocking chair?
Might as well.
In my day,
You might as well.
television season had 30 episodes.
Well, when we get to our algorithm section, as Andy will talk about Bring Her Back, which I'm sure is going to be a real bummer. Because from what I've heard, the movie's a real sad story. I'll try to lighten things up with something I just started watching, and it's really fun.
All right. We'll get to that later.
Hopefully, they'll counteract each other, and you won't be depressed.
Well, too
You
bad.
watched a movie called Take Her Away.
Take her away. Take it away.
Take my wife, please. All right. Let's do it.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction.
This week's main attraction is from 1991. It's called Delicatessen.
It's
Andy-
French.
It's French. Andy picked this. Sight
Is
unseen.
delicatessen? Is that what? Is delicatessen the French word for butcher?
Delicatessen. I don't know what the origin of the word delicatessen is, but
Because I imagine delicatessen as a place where you get sandwiches and sliced meats.
yeah,
There were no sliced meats to be found at all.
maybe like Webster's Dictionary defines delicatessen as so. Like the filmmaker, one of them, I can't remember if it was Marc Caro or Jean Genet. They lived in an apartment above a delicatessen or a butcher shop, and that's where the idea came from. They were like, what if every morning when we wake up and we hear the butcher going to work, he is killing one of the tenants in the building and chopping them up and making meat out of them.
That's a hell of a what if.
Yeah. So Andy, you picked this movie sight unseen, right?
Yeah, I've seen like Amelie, which the same director, right? And we just did Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see his fingerprint from Alien Resurrection from this movie.
Alien erection. The
Alien erection.
yeah, he's got a style all his own, or their own. Their team really. Although I feel like Jean Genet, I can't remember his full name, but I feel like he is the more famous of the half for some reason. I think he just some of the stuff he did on his own. He made a separate name from like he's the Paul Simon of the Simon and Garfunkel pair.
Yeah.
But have you seen City of Lost Children?
Maybe.
That's a really
Honestly,
good one.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's the movie they wanted to do first when they eventually ended up doing Delicatessen, because City of Lost Children seemed like it would be too expensive and the studios didn't want to help them out. And so they're like, we can make Delicatessen cheap. It doesn't look cheap. It looks amazing. But yeah. So Andy, do you want to kind of give the rundown on it since you picked the movie?
I mean, you basically did.
Yeah.
There's
it's
a butcher that.
Well, it's more than that.
I mean,
the thing that
it's
makes
like
it
a
steampunk.
it's the future.
Yeah.
When this dystopian, we don't know what really happened, but things, guess it's like almost like an apocalyptic event, or maybe like an environmental thing.
I
don't know.
Famine.
Well, because at some point somebody says when things grow back, meaning food,
Mhm.
and then the person responds to them, they're never going to grow back.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it's hard to explain what's going on in this movie because the narrative is so kind of disjointed. It was hard to figure out what's going on. It was more
Really?
just like.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Andy. I do think it wasn't quite super clear all the
Maybe
time.
No,
because
I
I've
get-
seen it several times. It's not
No,
so muddy to me.
I get the murderous butcher part, but the story about those Chud people,
Well, there's
from the sewer,
There's
that was confusing.
Yeah.
they were the people who were willing to subsist on the bottom and feed off the rats. Like they kind of hint at it early in the movie, where they're trying to give him a rat call to pass that. He goes, but the butcher's too good for rat meat is kind of the thing. So there's this apartment complex where all of these people are kind of living the 1950s lifestyle, but it's a comfortable lifestyle more or less for them, except for maybe the wet guy in the basement who has all the snails and frogs. But like
He seems happy enough.
he seems
I don't
happy
know if
enough.
I don't know if it's comfortable because I feel like they can't leave.
Well, yeah, but
at
they're
all.
not underground. I think what I'm trying to say is like they're eating meat and they're also eating other things where they're trading,
Lentils and corn.
Right. Yeah, they're trading without the outsiders. But like this is, I think, supposed to be like 12,000 years in the future, some crazy, way far distant future. Somebody figured it out. And it's in the trivia if you want to look. But it's so simple. It's just the people who live in the building came up with a system that whoever the new person is most likely going to be the one eaten, but it's really whoever wanders the place after dark. If you're out of your apartment after curfew,
You're fair game.
You're fair game, and it's the butcher's just going to take whoever he can get. But they withhold this information from the new people who come. So when we open on the movies, the previous new hire is trying to escape, dressed as garbage.
Yeah, that's what I didn't quite understand was happening
Yeah.
in the very beginning. I'm like, why is he wearing this suit covered in newspaper?
Yeah, he just made himself look
He's
like
trying to look like trash so he can get thrown away and escape the building.
in that stylized garbage can.
Like an inmate trying to escape jail. There's been so many escapees lately. What's that all about?
I didn't know that. For real?
Talking about the Louisiana people
Well, there was the Louisiana guys. There were like
Really?
11 of them that escaped through the hole in the wall.
who also escaped.
Then there's the Devil in the Ozarks guy, the former police chief that was convicted of murder and rape. He escaped. He's still out there.
Wow.
Yikes!
I had no idea.
Did he dress up? Did he just cover himself up in butcher paper and dress up as trash?
He dressed up as trash.
Close. He dressed like a law enforcement officer.
So this guy gets away, you think, but then he's betrayed pretty much and turned back into the butcher.
And everybody eats good the next
And they
day.
all eat. The next thing you see, he's wrapped in paper and portioned out. And this movie, the look of it, it's like, again, Andy talked about how this has a lot in common visually with Alien Resurrection, same director. But the color scheme is even similar. Like the reds, the rusty reds and the greens. Like if there's a red in this movie, it's the same red. It doesn't really vary. And the green is consistent throughout. And it's really like, it looks like somebody had a limited palette and made this beautiful artwork with it, but they only had these handful of colors to work with, and it really makes it even more kind of magical.
Don't forget sickly yellow.
And sickly yellow.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
trying to...
I like that color palette that they use because we never see the outside, but we get the everything's just kind of like it was like this. The dust has covered the sun, and it's like only peeking through, so it's not everything's not bright. Everything's like washed out,
Yeah.
and so muted.
Which is funny because the movie's so in personality, it's the opposite of that.
Yeah,
Personality.
Like everybody's kind of like an elevated, almost caricature. It's very cartoony, but in the best way. Not like that's not a criticism, but once you get into the rhythm of the building, it is a live action cartoon from that point on, I think.
yeah.
And then when you
It's
get
very.
into the rhythm of the night.
Mhm.
It's gonna get you. Yeah, it's almost plays like a silent film. I mean, it helps that it's like Chaplin-esque, like some of the stuff.
I think the French really, they even appreciate, Jerry Lewis over there. Like in not in an ironic way, like these directors are big Jerry Lewis fans. So you can kind of see some of that sensibility in the work, but their stuff is so much more refined, I think.
Yeah.
Have you watched much Jerry Lewis? Old
No.
Jerry Lewis movies like
Not
Nutty
at all.
Professor or anything?
Very little Jerry Lewis. I only know him from his telethons.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That makes sense. So Luson is Dominic Pignon, who was in Alien Resurrection as was he the mechanic?
Yeah, he was the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, and he's in pretty much everything that this pair does. He turns up in Amelie as well, usually with large roles. Also, there is Julie, who is the daughter of the butcher, and the butcher's Clapet or Clapet. That's Jean-Claude Dreyfus is the butcher.
We're just gonna call him Butcher from now on.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Butcha.
But and then the rest of the cast is all these kind of really people with big expression, these faces that have these really large
They pull
expressions.
cool faces.
Yeah, it's like going to one of those shows in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where the granny has a shotgun and everybody's got to impersonate a different. I don't know. I've never been to one of them.
Some hillbilly nonsense.
I've only seen the pamphlets for them.
But they're always pulling faces.
Yeah, but yeah, it's great. There's one woman who is suicidal because she is hearing voices, and I spoiled the twist on that for Amy by accident.
No, you didn't. I don't know what you think you told me,
I
but
said-
I was not
I said, have they
prepared for that.
shown the guy who was talking to her yet?
I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
So all was well.
She's used to tuning you out, Freddy.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I don't hear you when you speak anymore. Please, after 20 some odd years.
Yeah. So you got different levels of oddballs in the building. The basement guy maybe being the strangest of all, who is hoarding snails.
And he's got an army of frogs.
Yeah, and he's fine. He's just like, this is my
How
apartment.
very French of this man.
Yeah.
What a boring diet, huh? Just frog legs and snails.
I mean, I don't know. To survive, I guess I could just eat raw snails out of the shell if it meant living or dying.
You'd do anything, I think.
Yeah. And him tossing the
starve.
shells into that pile. Ugh.
It was gross.
It was gross. The thing is, it wasn't that far off of just regular old escargot, really. I mean, he didn't have the butter or anything, but
Yeah.
I've seen people pull fucking snails out of shells and eat them like that with a little fork. It makes me want to fucking just Ralph everywhere.
I don't recommend it. It's not for me.
I've
Have
had
you
it
had
once.
it?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And we had it on the cruise we went on, the Disney cruise.
I've had it twice then. I had it once in Reno with Jay. He was working, and a friend of mine was working out in Reno, Nevada, and he was working in fine dining, and we went to one of the restaurants. And the little bits of garlic bread that came with it, and the stuff's floating in, that the little
the
snails
butter.
floating in, that's
the
good.
garlic butter is the best part.
Yeah,
I could
but,
just eat
chuck
that.
snail in the garbage.
Anyway,
Although
same thing with
again,
frog
don't-
legs. I
yeah.
don't like frog legs either.
And Freddy.
Yeah, I don't like frog legs. I don't. It's like it looks like chicken and tastes like fish. It's real bad. Ugh. Ooh.
It's too like stringy and dry.
Oh, the skin's terrible.
Because it's basically all muscle anyway. So
it's greasy. Ugh.
No, thank you.
My dad liked those things. He'd eat all kinds of weird shit.
No, thank you. I've seen frog legs cooked, and they move
Yeah.
like they're going to jump.
It's just isn't that all the
It's just
liquid
the
cooking out of
muscle
them?
contraction.
Yeah.
It's gross.
You know, like they move when they cut them off their little bodies too, and make buckets of them when they're gigging frogs.
Oh my God.
Ew, how do we
Just
get?
why
oh,
does
yeah.
frog have to be,
Basement guy.
again, we've picked the animals we're going to eat. We need to stop expanding that.
Well,
we need to
apparently
shrink
not.
it.
Or we're going to end up in a delicatessen environment where we're like the closest thing to
We
what
need to
we're
shrink
used to
it.
is each other.
Yeah.
No more, no eating frogs. Leave frogs alone.
Yeah. Oh, I bet post-apocalyptic man meat would taste terrible. It'd be so riddled with pollutants and toxins.
Is
and
it-
other men?
Vegan to eat human?
No, we're animals.
Okay.
It is definitely not vegan to eat a person. Remember we were talking about licking a toad? If that
Yeah,
was
Andy,
vegan?
what do you think? Do you think it's vegan to lick a toad, a psychedelic toad, to get high? Is
I
that
mean, you're
vegan
not
or
killing the
vegan?
toad.
Well, you're not killing a cow to drink its milk. Think about it. None of us are
Alright.
vegan, so we don't know how it works.
So delicatessen.
I've never licked a toad either. Yes, delicatessen.
We are
Kids were smoking. There were children smoking because it's France. What are you gonna do?
Speaking of children, the couple. One of my other favorite tenets is the couple who have the repaired condom, where he is the scene where he's blowing the condom full of air, and they see the two patches in the condom.
And they have two kids.
Yeah, and I never noticed that before, and Amy caught that there were two patches. I thought that was really a neat detail. Anywho, it's that level of humor and kind of cartoony. And the thing is, they're keeping everything a secret from the clown, who is our main character, who's come to live there as basically a handyman. And he's left the circus because his partner, Dr. Livingstone, or Professor Livingstone, I can't remember which, was eaten. He was a chimp.
Still,
And
we don't eat chimps either.
yeah. And
Well, I guess when
he
you're
was eaten.
desperate in this post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Is that cannibalism to eat a chimp?
Strictly not.
They're pretty close to us.
But cannibalism is,
All right.
I think, the same exact.
I wouldn't do it, or I would think of it the same way.
Because I think like carrion birds can eat other birds, and it's not really cannibalism.
Well, that's their deal.
I don't know. Is it
Okay.
cannibalism? I
Let
don't know.
birds worry about their own cannibalism. I'm
But-
worrying about human.
So,
Anyway,
this fella is so charming that all the women in the building seem to kind of have a soft spot for him, especially the butcher's daughter.
mhm.
I've already forgotten her name again.
Julie?
Julie, thank you, Julie, and they have kind of a sweet romance building, but you learn through some subsequent scenes that she maybe was sweet on the last guy too. So it kind of has the structure of like an old timey joke too, where
She falls in love with the doomed
with him.
guys.
Yeah, doomed guys every time. It has that kind of farmer's daughter quality. But I just love this movie to death. I'm so glad you picked it, Andy.
I wrote down that you called it a soothing cannibal movie.
It's
when we were
the
watching
most
it.
soothing cannibal movie.
I think that's probably true.
Maybe the only soothing one. I mean, the beginning of Cannibal Holocaust with the music.
But it's not like the main
nice.
point of it, though. And it's there's barely any like gore or violence.
Right.
Yeah, there's really
Yeah.
none.
I can't
Yeah.
think of any blood
I can't either.
off the top of my head. Yeah, it's just a beautiful movie. It's funny. It's sweet.
It has a doorbell nipple.
Oh, where he's just gently flicking the doorbell like it's a nipple. That was
Yeah.
erotic. that was decidedly French, right?
Yeah, this is
Quite French.
the most French movie I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
It's just the sensibilities and the look of it.
So you weren't a fan of Baron Munchausen, but this one, how'd you feel about this?
I liked it a little bit better than Baron Munchausen.
Just a little bit better?
Yeah, it was good, but I don't think I'd revisit it again.
Really?
Like
yeah, I'm kind of where Andy is.
Like-
it's just me. All alone.
Don't get me wrong, I love whimsy,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe this might be a little too whimsical for me.
Was it the musical Saw scene that put it over the top for you?
No, it's like I need a narrative in a story.
This has a
Um,
narrative.
But
Mm,
It has
like-
multiple narratives. It's an
the
ensemble.
no, I like that, but like it was just the plot with the underground dwellers.
You don't like the plot you were given. It's not that it
No,
wasn't
it
one.
was like it was just confusing.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to
The troglodytes.
work
Yeah.
out the story because I would enjoy the movie because I was too busy trying to figure out what was going on with the
Gotcha.
the underground people.
The
Yeah.
outlaws.
Why they called them the troglodytes, not the troglodytes, right?
Right.
I don't know why.
And they're kind of like portrayed as these dangerous people by the media, right?
Yeah, they're rebels against kind of like, but also they're
What are
very
they rebelling
mysterious.
against?
Well, they don't want to live in. They're looking for alternatives to eat. Like they're eating vermin and stuff. So they're kind of rebelling against the idea of what's happening in that apartment. Because it's probably not the only place it's happening. You know what I mean? Like it's
I think
a
that
facade. You know.
I think that they exist in a fascistic world where the troglodytes have opted out of that authoritarian kind of
yeah, it seems like it,
government.
yeah. They look-
That's kind of what I it's an impression I got. I don't think the movie told me anything really. I'm just making that up. But to me,
So-
it seemed like it was a very authoritarian kind of world in that the troglodytes, the outlaws, they had opted out and they were rebelling.
Is it only? I mean, are they rebelling just because they don't want to? What What are they rebelling against? I was
the
confused there.
lifestyle. The lifestyle. There's two lifestyles presented. There's the cannibals in the tower. Theoretically, the apartment complex, whatever you want. And then there's the people,
No,
the
but
meek
I'm-
who are eating vermin. They're rebelling against the idea that we shouldn't that we're worth.
But is that
we're
going
worth more
on-
than other people? You know.
But is that going on across all of France?
You don't need to know that for the story to work.
Because the story because
It makes you curious.
It does make you curious, but that's just a sign of a good movie.
In the newspaper, there's headlines about the troglodytes,
Yeah.
and like the newscast, there's news about the troglodytes and how they're kind of dangerous.
Yeah, because they represent the opposite of the society they're trying to maintain. The people who are making the news and the people who live in the apartment, that news is for the people that live in that apartment. As far as we know, it's only for them. They might be the last people watching it even. And all these underground people, they represent just the other alternative. That's like a real French idea. Like what we borrowed, like our founding ideas on the liberty thing was this idea that you don't have to live by anybody's code. And I think that's part of it.
So it's
baked
basically
in.
about conformity.
It's just about,
Rebelling against, okay.
But
they
the movie
come
is-
across as a resistance of some
yeah,
sort.
Yeah.
but the movie is not about that.
The movie is not political.
The only thing that it kind of functions the way, like in Casablanca, the way the war was there, but the movie wasn't really about the war. The movie's a romance and a comedy. It's really about those. It's about those two characters falling in love with each other, and then as their relationship builds and the conflicts with the other woman, who tries to show interest in the clown.
Yeah.
And there's the whole jealousy thing, that whole subplot. There was a very tiny little subplot.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but maybe it's because I never felt any tension or anything, because it's not like they were hunting these people, like the new tenants. Like all they had to do was like leave the building, and that's who they picked off
No, it's
to eat.
It's not if you left the building. It's if you
You've
left
left
your
your
room at
apartment.
night.
Oh,
So basically, everyone understood. They were like,
is that why
that's how they
she's like
pick people.
Is that why she's drugging him so he can sleep and not go out
Yeah.
at night?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't get that quite. Okay, now I get that.
yeah, because like she knew that her dad was going to lay a trap too. Because even though anyone could leave their room, and that's why there's that real scene of conflict, like that crazy kind of tense moment when one of the ladies is out of her apartment. I think it's one of the old ladies, right?
The couple's mom.
Yeah. And the butcher doesn't want to kill her, but that's the rule. And he's expecting any minute that the clown's going to come down because he set him up, but he doesn't show up because he's asleep.
Right.
And he's so deeply asleep he doesn't hear her calling for help. The whole thing was supposed to be like a trap. So it's a system that's supposed to be presented as kind of fair, like, you know, in the Hunger Games or whatever the lottery, whatever you're into, whatever version of this you're looking at. The truth is that it's never really fair. Like there's always somebody who can put their thumb on the scale. He doesn't tell him that stay out. You know that the consequences of being out. So that's where the tension comes in. But it's also it's such a comedy primarily that I don't think, like adding like an actual like if they did like a hunting sequence, it would probably be the beginning sequence where it was played mostly for comedy, where it's just a cat and mouse kind of seems harmless.
It's like, I knew that the new guy was at risk of being eaten and everything, but I just didn't know what the rules were.
Right. Yeah. So you thought if he left the house, he was fair game.
Or like if they just got hungry enough or something, or I don't know. It was just like I appreciate the visuals and like the interactions between all the tenants and stuff like that. But now that you laid it out for me, it does make more sense. But while watching it, I was too busy trying to figure out what was actually going on to maybe appreciate the other stuff.
Yeah, because it makes everything seems. I get why you'd feel that way watching. You think that because everything seems so big and important, that it must be big and important to the actual story of the movie.
Yeah,
because the flavor is so damn strong. Like, and it's like I think Marvel has reprogrammed all of our brains too, where if you're watching something on screen in a Marvel movie, it's there for a specific reason. Like it's either an Easter egg, it serves the plot directly. There's very little there, I think, for like genuine like flavor or anything that came from like the artistry of the person making it. There's so many people working on it that it's working on those movies that it has to fit a formula. It has to look a certain way. So when you see something like Delicatessen and I've watched so many Marvel movies, I've seen almost everything they've done. So like I can feel it. I can feel that Marvel sensibility and the modern storytelling kind of fighting this 91 art house shit. And I'm like, well, that should be a bigger piece. Like why is the world starving?
Well, it's also like it was nonstop whimsy and nonstop just everything's light and fun. I just needed some consistency. I just needed some more like peaks and valleys of that stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit more balance.
Do you feel like in Alien Resurrection, like, okay, you got the same director like that. Do you feel that movie, does it seem sillier in hindsight when you look at his touches to it? Or do you think he struck a balance between serious and
felt like for that he was injecting his it was a good balance between his style and the actual narrative I can follow.
I meant like but you feel like that had more weight, like when you watch Alien Resurrection, like the heavier parts felt like heavier plot wise and meant more
a little bit, because there was like I said, there was some peaks and valleys and time for the movie to like breathe and rest.
Yeah, because I mean,
between all the whimsy,
because you figure like I think he came right off of this to do that. I think that's the last thing they made before. I'm gonna check because I don't trust my memory. But yeah,
we haven't talked about the mailman.
Oh yeah,
he's a real bastard. Actually, the butcher sucks.
He's like
the mailman.
He's almost like the Gaston character, like the
Brombones.
The guy who's after the girl, but she doesn't want him.
Yeah, so they did Delicatessen, and then they did some shorts, and then they did City of Lost Children, and then 2 years later, Alien Resurrection. So they've had a couple of features by then. So it is interesting, like because if you look at their late output, it's very much more serious stuff and less of this, like the very long engagement. It's like about a World War One.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, like the tone is so different too.
Yeah.
But I just find that interesting. I feel like this is a super divisive when it comes to like audiences. This directing team, but like critics always seem to love their stuff.
Oh, I can see it. Critics
Yeah.
just
Yeah. It's
panting
very
over this.
artsy, fartsy.
Yeah.
The mailman gave me the dentist vibes from Little Shop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Had a similar hat, right?
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Andy?
Oh, I forgot already.
You
Sorry.
son of a bitch.
No, I'm not like being facetious. Like you know what? Like a thought just leaves your mind.
It happens to me
And it's
constantly.
just
Andy.
gone.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be thinking about what I forgot already for
Yeah.
the rest of the show.
After recently having seen the new Final Destination movie, to then come to this movie with all of Aurora's elaborate suicide attempts.
Oh yeah, her Rube Goldberg machines.
Yeah.
Doesn't something like that happen in the beginning of Amelie too? Doesn't her mother commit suicide in some?
I haven't seen that movie in 25 years,
Oh,
so
okay.
I can't tell you what happened.
Yeah, I just it is. I mean, the subject matter is so dark, but they're so Rube Goldberg like.
Yeah.
So there are the two old guys that live together that make the animal call things. Why was the one urging her to kill herself? He was the voice.
I think. Do you think he just wanted to eat her?
No, I wasn't like he jealous because
The other guy was in love with her.
Yeah, I think that's it.
His friend was in love with her.
So
and
he
was
wanted her
jealous.
to kill herself.
So he wanted her to kill herself.
So he could, because
Or they're not just friends. Who knows?
yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, I think he was just trying to get her out the way.
So he's in.
That's what I.
He's
yeah,
in
that's what I
love with the
interpreted
other
as.
toy maker.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Oh,
saying.
that's a good read. I didn't catch that, but I now that you say it, it kind of all falls into place. That's
I mean, like I can't think of any other reason that he would just do that to her, because otherwise he's just being mean, and I mean it's pretty mean already. But
I just thought he wanted her meat.
not doing doing it for sport, you know.
Yeah, I just presume everybody's motive is either meat or love.
Meat.
But Amy and Andy, you guys have made an argument that it's love and not meat.
I love meat.
I love meat too.
The Australian
Oh yeah,
Oh, the boomerang knife
boomerang
thingy.
knife. It was pretty gnarly when it was stuck all the way in that dude's head.
Yeah. It reminded
Couldn't
me
have
of
happened
Kroll.
to a nicer
yeah.
bad guy.
That's another really Charlie Chaplin kind of touch. The
Yeah.
him having like a gadget of some kind or something clever that solves your problem.
Now, did the lady that told the butcher to throw the Australian knife, did she set him up because she knew it was going to come back? And
I didn't get that, but maybe. I just thought that she was just also wanted to eat the clown.
Oh, okay.
Again, but maybe she was in love with the clown, because isn't she the
No,
one
it's
who was
not
also
the
hitting on her, hitting on him?
Because maybe she was in love with the clown, but there was also a moment where she almost had like Stockholm syndrome with the kidnappers, the troglodytes.
Oh yeah. That's right.
So maybe I interpreted it as she wanted to get the butcher out the way, so because she didn't like that relationship going on with them.
I love the climax with the TV. He's going to appear on television with Livingstone, and they're all up on the roof with the fixing the antenna.
Yeah.
That shit is. I just love that. I love when people get up on a rooftop and crazy shit goes down. Like, So I Married an Axe Murderer, or Gremlins. Like, I mean, I'm just like, I'm always
One of your
on
favorite
board.
tropes.
Yep. Except
Should
for
that
the
be a
room.
theme?
The room blew it.
Should we have a whole roof theme month?
Scenes on a roof. They have to be in the third act. Roof climaxes.
Adventures in Babysitting had a really good roof scene too.
Oh, it did.
Is
Well,
that
was
considered a
scary.
roof? Well, that's just
Yeah.
a tall building.
No, that's the roof of that building, though. They slid
Oh,
down
okay.
that motherfucker. Ooh-wee. Dangerous.
Ooh-wee.
So, you guys have anything else you want to say about Delicatessen?
Yeah, it was maybe I need to give another watch to really appreciate, so I can appreciate it without overthinking it.
I liked it more the second time I saw this when I worked at Blockbuster, and it was one of those movies.
Well, la di da.
No, Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
And it was one of those movies that I think the first time I watched it, it was so foreign to me that I didn't know what to do with it at all.
Literally.
But I couldn't stop thinking about it, how cool it looks. And also that main actor, there's something about his face that just really draws me in. He seems like a otherworldly kind of character.
The movie for me it's not my particular cup of tea.
Yeah.
Were this to never happen, us get this theme for the show and Andy picks it, I never would have watched it.
Yeah.
Glad I did. I enjoyed myself.
Do you want to see other things by this
I'm good.
team? No? No City of Lost Children for you?
No.
Fair enough. It's more.
I mean,
it's
that's
more of
probably
the same.
more accessible, right? Because of Ron Perlman.
It's
I do love
It's
Ron
honestly
Or is it
like
or is it super whimsical like this one?
it's very whimsical like this one. If you've ever seen Moonwalker, the Michael Jackson movie, where he has the kids that are, I don't remember exactly what the deal was, but it reminds me of that. But that via this lens, the Delicatessen lens. It looks like it's not that different in tone from Delicatessen. It has more action. There's more action. It's bigger. Like the sets are way bigger. So and it was more, obviously more expensive to make.
What's a brief?
It's a fantasy movie. It's also kind of steampunky. It's real hard. I mean, I feel like here you go. A scientist in a surrealistic society kidnaps children to steal their dreams, hoping they slow his aging process.
See, I would read that and go, I'm good. I'm good. But that's just me.
Yeah. It is very like la ti da doo dee doo dee doo.
It's hoity-toity, highfalutin.
No, it's more like kids fan, like what's that Lemony Snicket's? It's kind of the beginning of, you can get the vibe that these guys would be really good making like kid movies. It's not that it's really even, I don't think it's intended for kids. It might be, but it's a pretty gritty. It reminds me a lot of the troglodyte portions of Delicatessen.
Right.
It's wet in parts, tunnels, that sort of thing.
This was a very wet movie.
Yeah.
They filled that bathroom full of water.
That was a pretty cool sequence.
I don't think that's possible.
They stuffed
way
all
they
their
did it.
clothes in all the
All
places
the
that could
holes.
leak out.
Okay, that's all you gotta do.
But I like the consequence of them doing that is the floor collapses.
Yeah.
So they did pay for it. Like it added some reality to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
True.
Now, was their intention to drown themselves?
Their intention was to escape.
But what was their plan to escape?
To exactly do what they did, to have the door
exactly.
blow out.
That was the actual plan. Okay.
Yeah,
Door
yeah.
to blow off.
Because
Okay.
he's kind of, he's like Mr. Bean. You ever watch Mr. Bean?
I love Mr. I still have my VHS sets of
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Bean.
wow.
I feel like this guy is like a talking Mr. Bean. He's way more smooth than Mr. Bean. He is game. But otherwise,
Yeah,
he's just
it's-
Mr. Bean.
I mean, it does make sense. Like Mr. Bean is basically a mime,
Yeah.
and this had a
True.
very like French mime quality to it.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
classic
This movie's
style.
so French.
It is super French.
It's like French dressing
Right.
on your salad.
Probably comes with a croissant. If you buy the Blu-ray Steelbook, there's a
Comes with a
croissant in there.
baguette and a beret.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like my favorite parts were the little tiny little things,
Yeah.
like Arbora, the suicidal lady. I just love her expressions right about when it's about to happen,
Yeah.
and she has that like look of hopefulness on her.
Yeah. She's great. Those moments remind me so much of Dead Alive and like Peter Jackson style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the little interactions between like the toy makers, where like he has to tune the little cow makers
I love that too.
by mooing himself.
Yeah. Well, he has the,
Yeah.
I like he uses a tuning fork.
Yeah,
And then they turn him upside down. If it's slightly off, it gets back
Yeah.
back to the
And he has-
drawing board.
that he has to go. Mrrr.
And I want to know if those are toys or if those are somehow used for hunting. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that, because the rat call, was not a toy.
Yeah,
They were really using that shit. So
and it's just like like they're just going through the motions because who would they make these toys for? But that's just what they're used to, and they're
you
just trying to
think
get.
they're just they were for children, dead children?
They're just trying to get through the day, but I'd like to imagine what like the day-to-day life in that building is like, because they can't leave the building at all, and like what do they do? So like
Right.
There's a movie in my mind that's better than this.
Do you like Only Murders in the Building?
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd love it. It's a lot of fun.
It actually is not. It's like a toned down version of Delicatessen set in the real world.
Mm.
A lot of quirky characters, and you're moving around from apartment to apartment, seeing how everybody's living.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. I liked it well enough.
Good.
Good.
You guys want to talk about the algorithm?
Real quick, next week we got Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah. It's your pick.
Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, and I don't even really know if it's steampunk or not, but it was on a list. So I'm curious. It's been a long time since we had that genre, that trend blow through our literature. So it'll be a good time, I think. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, let's see what the algorithm has for us.
You want to go ahead, Amy?
All right. So I slept through a few things.
Yeah.
So there's not really much I have to share. Like, I slept through the end of Meat Cleaver Massacre. It wasn't that good to begin with.
That was bad.
So I don't even want to talk about it.
There was no meat cleaver in the movie even.
There's no meat cleaver.
Yeah.
Is there a massacre at least?
I don't even remember what happened.
I don't even know if there was a massacre. But you can't name your movie Meat Cleaver Massacre and not give me a Meat Cleaver Massacre.
What was it? I don't even remember what it was about. Do you?
No.
It was like a haunting or something, maybe.
Sounds like a ripoff of something.
It's not good. Anyway. But today we were talking at work because we do these things sometimes where we call them like campfire questions around the office. And we'll ask everybody, what's your desert island? This, those sorts of questions. If you didn't work here, what would you like to be doing? That sort of stuff.
Was somebody's desert island movie Meat Cleaver Massacre?
Mm-hmm. But today we had what could you do a blind taste test of and do really well at? Because one of my coworkers, her mom is a ketchup snob apparently, and will only eat Heinz. Well, they're going to do a blind taste test with her to see if she can really pick out Heinz or not.
She's just gonna eat straight ketchup.
Yeah,
That's gross.
They could bring in Hunts.
Oh,
They're gonna bring in
catsup.
Hunt's. They're going
Yeah.
to bring in Kroger brand.
Real tomato ketchup, Eddie.
So, I'm going to ask you guys,
Yeah.
what is something you think you could do a blind taste test of?
And get it.
Yeah, and my answer when we were talking about it was seltzer water. I could tell you different seltzer waters.
Can you tell brands?
Yeah, that's what I think I can do.
No.
Because I am a connoisseur of seltzer.
Oh my.
So that's mine.
Probably tell you yogurts, maybe. I don't really know.
I was gonna say you could you identify a cut of a meat
By taste
by
alone?
taste alone?
I could probably
Because
get
you are a
close.
steak boy,
I could get close.
He's a big meat boy.
meat boy.
Although I've never tried to by taste alone. That's crazy. What do you think, Andy? You got one?
Dick and ass. Just kidding.
Oh, this one tastes like shit. Trick question.
No, I don't think I have anything specific like ketchup, or like mustard or like seltzer, because I think those are very difficult to figure out. I got candy bars, but that's candy bars are so distinct from each other that
Peanut butter.
You could do peanut butters.
brands and everything.
Brand, yeah. I could tell the difference between brands of peanut butter by taste alone. I could at least tell you if it was Kroger, Jif, or Skippy, or Peter Pan.
I bet you could do box cake, Andy.
Versus homemade cake? From
No,
scratch?
I think you could do different kinds of
Different
cakes.
brands of box
No,
cake.
I stick with what's on sale. So
Oh,
whatever, maybe the cheapest box cake.
Well,
I
in
can
that case, you
identify.
know what all the brands taste like.
You know what them all taste
I
like.
don't know. It's there's not one certain food that I like well enough where I'm an expert at.
How did we get? We were going desert island stuff, and we ended up here. Oh,
Well, no,
just
'cause
because the taste test.
The question was,
Yeah.
what
Who
could
likes
you do?
ketchup that much?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's this person loves ketchup so much is that they have to have a specific ketchup.
Cheesesteaks.
Oh.
I could taste a cheesesteak from any restaurant that I've had. Tell you where it came from, probably. I love a cheesesteak.
Braggart.
he's had all the cheesesteaks.
I've had all the local ones. I've just
To
never.
Cincinnati,
I've never had
from where cheesesteaks came from.
We got a lot though. We got like 6 options.
6 options, easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, listener, write in and tell me yours, and then we're gonna fucking quiz you on it.
Yeah.
crew@notlp.com. Then we're gonna show up at your house with ingredients and a blindfold.
Should have never
Sounds
said
terrifying.
So email me your address.
So you didn't sleep through anything else, Amy?
Oh, I slept through a few things. We watched another movie.
Yeah.
What was it called?
What's it? Are you talking about Up the Creek? You were asleep for that.
No, not
But
Up the
I think I
Creek.
was just watching. I'll talk about that on mine.
I watched most of. Oh, we watched Bikini Girls and the Beach Monster.
That
or
was
something.
great. Have
That
you ever
was
seen that?
fun.
It's from like what is it, 1960 or something?
Something like that.
And it's just real fun. It's like a live action Scooby Doo movie.
I feel like this could be a spinoff of a podcast for Amy, like what I slept through. And
Yeah.
you describing something that you watched only half of.
Only saw
Did
about
you
half
fall
of it.
asleep during the
No,
beach?
actually, because that was only an hour long. I
That
did stay
movie's
awake for
that
that.
movie's like lickety split. It's real fun.
I
Goofy,
stayed awake for
goofy creature costume.
I stayed awake for the conclusion of season 2 of Reacher, which was very fun.
Oh, that was a good
Still
time.
a recommend.
I love all the fighting and the shooting, the
It's
neck
amazing.
breaking. If you like action. Oh,
But anyway, that's what I
yeah.
got.
Andy, do you want to talk about Bring Her Home?
Back.
Bring Her Back?
Yeah. And I'm not gonna like just talk about it briefly because I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's a pretty brutal movie. Not just because of the gore stuff, but just emotionally. There's like a lot of heavy things that go on.
I heard there was a dead parent right up top.
You know, it's like the story is that these kids, their dad dies and they're left to be orphans, but the big brother, he's not old enough to legally adopt his sister yet, like take guardianship. He's like 17 and they need to wait a couple months, so they both have to go to this lady's the foster mother's house for a couple months before he can apply for guardianship. So basically the story is that these siblings are in this weird lady's house and weird things happen. And I guess I didn't see the trailer, but I don't know how much that gives away. But basically this lady's she's not what she seems and puts these kids through a lot of physical and emotional stuff.
Is it scary?
So it's not. I wasn't necessarily scared. It was like, is tension scary because there's so much. The tension is just
tension to me is scary usually.
Yeah, there's like this
It's
is
a
one of the
horror
most
film.
tense.
Yeah.
It's one of the most like tense filled movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like it's just always there and it's always bubbling and you're always waiting for the next thing that this lady's going to do to these poor kids.
Really.
And the next gross out things that's going to happen because like it's like building up to like that because there's like gore things that happen throughout and it's just building and building and building. And it's coming up to something and the like finale, like the last act is like just nonstop, like bam, bam, bam of like things that happen.
I'm excited to
so
see
it's
it.
like it's really, really good, but you just have to be prepared and just be ready for like at the end everybody just felt gross. Not gross, but just exhausted.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know.
I mean, that gives you an idea of how effective this movie is.
I really like Talk to Me, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah, it's like Talk to Me was like pretty sad and emotionally like devastating, but this is like amped up to like the nth degree. So like and it's like I wonder these both movies are like a lot of like similarities, like teen trauma and death and supernatural stuff. And it's like wonder, like, are these guys okay? You know,
you
did
need a
something
hug?
happen?
I think you'd probably end up, you make a movie like Talk to Me, and I'm sure a lot of this is ideas they maybe had and they couldn't fit in, and they've probably fleshed them out.
But
it
it's
seems
like
that
it's
way.
just interesting that both movies. I mean, they've only done 2 movies so far, so like, but it's interesting like both movies have such deep teen trauma with like dead parents and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe that's a personal thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really it's. I mean, if something happened to them, I'm sad that happened. But like, at least they're, expressing it through art, and it's really effective. And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's hilarious, like how prestigious and respectable that movie sounds. And I'm about to tell you about Up the Creek. Have you ever seen Up the Creek?
no,
It's a movie that was on cable a lot when we were kids, but you can stream it on Prime right now. It's a lot like Revenge of the Nerds, but it's about a whitewater rafting race. And the contestants.
is there a rich? Is there like a rich team and a poor team?
Yes. Yep. There's the rowdy like fraternity brother team, and then there's the rich asshole team, and the rich asshole team actually has like weapons and shit on their boat like in wacky races, and it's got Tim Matheson in it and all kinds of faces you're gonna know, like Jennifer Runyon, who you know probably from Ghostbusters. She was the one who Bill Murray's doing the card quiz with, and Not Shocking.
Yes, that actress that was in that movie for 2 minutes. I remember her.
She was Cindy Brady in the Brady Bunch movies because the original Cindy Brady couldn't be there.
It's just funny
That
you just
help?
toss his name
Don't
out.
you
Jennifer
know?
Runyon. Oh, her.
She had a career for a while, like
What else did we just watch her in?
in To All a Good Night, which
To
is
All
like
a
a
Good
Christmas slasher that you can only find on YouTube. But that was pretty fun.
That was okay.
It felt like Black Christmas, kind of.
Yeah.
Not nearly as good,
No.
but it had its moments. But the really good thing I watched was Predator Killer of Killers, which is that animated Predator movie on Hulu. That is out of this world. It is just nonstop action. The artwork is very similar to Into the Spider-Verse, that kind of style. I think they used Unreal Engine 5 or something, but it looks like an oil painting come to life in a lot of it. And it's not a lot of story. It's really just 3 historical periods and 3 different predators, and it feels like it's like
So
an
it's like-
anthology.
It's like that Matrix anime they put out.
Yep.
It's like different stories in the Predator universe.
But they do come together. It all ties together, but it ties back to Prey and the earlier Predator movies in a really cool way. It's Dan Trachtenberg who did Prey, also made the animated movie with I can't remember his co-director's name, but it's so good. I was glued to it the whole time. Best
So
action movie I've seen in a really long time.
Does each segment have a different director and anime style, or are they all
it's
the same
style?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's real consistent, but it's they're different eras on Earth, and so the artistry of it fits so well in every era they choose to do. Like every visual moment is out of this world. So good. I hope there's no AI involved. I didn't look because I don't want to know, but but I think it was all human. It looks like it has a very human quality to the paintings and everything.
Does it set up their Predator Badlands that's coming out in the fall?
No. I mean, it might connect to that, but I can tell you that this is really just about these 3 fights. It's really a movie just about these 3 fights, and they're so good. And the focus is totally on the action and the animation. Enough character just to make you care about who, the characters. The lady Viking character in the first sequence is such a cool character that by the end of the movie, I kind of was like, I could watch a whole movie with just that character. So good. Real complicated characters too, like the ones who are fighting the predators, because they're they all have different backgrounds, and they're not really like homogenized into like they don't look like all westernized versions of their culture they're from. They're really like hardcore, tough, rough around the edges kind of characters, except for the most modern one. He's the everyman I think we're supposed to kind of relate to in it.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Well, okay.
And To All a Good Night. I'd recommend that slasher fans, especially if you like a Christmas slasher.
Yeah.
Not great though. But again, way better
Recommend it. Not
than
good.
Meat Cleaver Massacre.
Yeah.
Like that's one we started and we ended up at To All a Good Night because that one was unwatchable to me.
Right. Meat Cleaver Massacres where they went and they killed their professor. And then they were trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
There was no massacre.
Were they hippies? Was that another one of those
Yeah.
hippie movies? We've fallen into a weird hippie. The algorithm thinks we want to watch like Manson family adjacent
Yeah.
people make
Everything
movies.
filmed on Spawn Ranch.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Freddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Well, at the end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs. So I'm going to do that right now. Patreon.com/NOTLP if you want to become one. There's also other things you can do there.
That sounded dirty.
I know. Matt, Branan and Emily, Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Billsterd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordash Jeans, Monica, Ernest, Dave, Paul, and Shayna Bobana.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you had fun with us today.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old body